Anybody remembers doing decimal approximations? Yes? Alright, so let's just say I had a number like this, right? Let's say I had 0.235. Let's say I want you all to round this off. So round it off to 1 decimal place. If I'm asking you to round it off to 1 decimal place, which place value am I rounding it off to? You'll remember your place value with decimal digits? Yeah, the 1 decimal place is this point, and I heard somebody just say that the approximated version of this is 0.2, which is good. So my question is, with the place value, anybody remembers what is the place value for this position? I'll give all you a chance to try that again. Redemption. What is the... There we go. There we go. I heard somebody just say it. This position is your 10th. Your 10th position. This position is the one that people were calling just now, the 100th position. And then finally, this one is our 1000th position. Alright? So we need to remember our place value, because when it comes to decimals, they might not just ask you 1 decimal place, 2 decimal place, or 3 decimal place. They might ask you to tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So let's take a look at another decimal approximation, alright? So let's say we had to round off. So let's say I ask you all to round this off to the nearest hundredths. So, nearest hundredths. Tell me. Okay, so I just heard somebody saying that if we round this up to the nearest hundredths, we're going to get 0.1. Anybody else wants to suggest what they think we'll get when we round this number off to the nearest hundredths? So I heard a 0.9 to the nearest hundredths. I given just now. I heard 0.9 something. Say it back again. 0.9. Nice. So we have another option. All right. So let's take a little vote, shall we? Raise your hand if you're in agreement that when we round off 0.928, you'll get 0.1. Raise your hand if you think the answer is 0.1. We asked the question, 0.928 rounded up to your nearest hundredths. Alright, so going once, going twice. Nobody? Not even the person who suggested it? Alright. You change your mind. Yes, you're entitled to change your mind, so we'll take that off. Alright. What about people who think 0.9 is the answer? Raise your hand if you think that 0.928 to the nearest hundredths is 0.9. So I see 2 hands, 3 hands, 5 hands. Raise your hand. Be proud about your answer. Let's find out. Do you think the answer, when you round off 0.928 to the nearest hundredths, you will get 0.9? So I see about 6 hands up. Alright. Hands down. And we're going again. Final round. How many people think that the answer is this 0.93? Raise your hand if you think the answer is 0.93. So, whoa, lots of hands went up there. Alright, so I'm seeing about roughly 0.5 of the class is saying that it is the 0.93. Alright, so you're all hands down. Let's talk about the answer. You all ready for the answer? Are we ready for the answer? Let's go. So, 0.928. Which digit occupies the hundredths position? The 2. That's the one. So if this is in the hundredths position, remember, when you are approximating, this is a position you want to approximate or round off to. So you'll have to look at the digit to the right of it, which is the 8. Is this number 5 or greater than 5, or is it less than 5? So this is a digit you're going to be asking that question that we would have asked earlier. Is it 5 or greater than 5, or is it less than 5? Greater. There you go. And when a number, so when we're rounding off a number and a digit is greater than 5, what do we do? So we're going to add 1 to the position we're rounding off to, and then replace the digits to the right of it with zeros. So this is how we're going to get that answer, that 0.928 to the nearest hundredths is 0.93, and you could stop at the 93, you don't even need the 0 at the end here. You could just write 0.93 and that will be correct. And even the 0.93 with the 0 at the end is still correct. Now it works for decimals like that. But there's a particular type of approximation called significant figures that we need to pay particular attention to, because in significant figures, zeros are very much a little challenge, because in certain instances your 0 is not significant, and then there are cases where the 0 is significant, and you need to know how to identify when 0 is significant and when it is not significant, because when you are doing significant figure approximations, you want to make sure you always write your answer to the correct number of significant figures. Alright, so what we just did here was to make sure that you understood the basic rule of approximations, which you do know how to do. For those of us who cannot remember it too well, cannot seem to distinguish the tenths, hundredths, thousandths, I would encourage you to go do some revision and get some practice with it, so that way you don't confuse yourself and you know which position is which. Alright?